Jonathan. Hey, congratulations. Thank you for signing on to talk about The Devil Below.
Thank you so much for having me, buddy.
Hey, not a problem. It's a frightening movie, but you know what? I love these type of movies. It's just I don't know. It's just maybe it's just the horror, maybe it's the creature features.
Yeah,
So,
I grew up on this stuff too, man. My dad was a big sci-fi and monster fanatic as well. So I think this one, it kind of checks all the boxes. I always say, you got to have a creepy setting, so the woods is always a great location. You got to have a creepy monster, and I think it's kind of an homage to these old movies, like Tremors or what was the other one? Deadly Eyes. Remember Deadly Eyes? You ever seen that?
oh yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
That's like that B movie, that B horror movie. But yeah, I just think this plays into the whole cult mentality of monster films, and it's a fun ride.
Well, this isn't your first time around into the horror genre. What attracted you to be a part of The Devil Below?
The director Brad Parker also directed me in Chernobyl Diaries. So he had sent me the script, and he, one of the biggest notes of the script was it needed some levity. It used to, like the original draft of the script was like shot out of a cannon, just drama, tension, tension, tension. And Brad and I talked, and we're like, let's add a little levity. Let's add a character that can kind of make some jokes at some point, or make the audience kind of decompress for a moment before set him up for some stuff. So and yeah, after talking to Brad, he's like, I want you to play this role, and I was like, absolutely. He was a joy to work with in Chernobyl Diaries, and yeah, I told him I'd follow him to the moon. It was just another great experience.
Chernobyl Diaries was quite some time ago, actually, because I remember that was like one of my first films I had to cover for Warner Brothers. I want to say it's maybe like 8-9 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Honestly, I think we shot that in 2011, and I think it came out in 2012.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. Way to date me, buddy. Way to age me up, man.
Well, let's go assume that you were extremely young during Chernobyl Diaries.
I was 14 when I shot that film.
Were there similarities between doing this the first time around with Bradley and this time around? Because I understand there were a little bit of caves, right?
Yeah, so that's one of the things I love about doing a film with Brad, is that he doesn't really leave a whole lot to the imagination. So like when we shot Chernobyl Diaries, we were like, in Serbia and like in the sticks in Budapest. And we were like at these, to mimic Pripyat, we were at these abandoned military bases where like these buildings were crumbling, and we're like, we have all these like safety protocols, but we're like, this building might come down right now. And then we were doing these, we were shooting in these cave systems in the side of a mountain in Belgrade, Serbia, that were built by Hitler during World War II. So they were like literally these bomb shelters in the side of the wall. You go down like a couple 100 feet of steps, and in the side of the mountain, there was a bomb door, and you open this bomb door and you were in this Nazi cavern system. So it's like, it's super eerie being down in these places, And the same thing with, the film was originally called Shookham Hills. They changed it to The Devil Below. But when we were shooting in Kentucky, we were in Mega Cavern, and we were in, Mount Vernon, and we're shooting in these woods and these places that they're practical locations. These aren't being built on sets and stuff like that. So just being able to interact with an environment that is real, it's a lot easier for the actor to kind of step into the skin of the character and be present in that scene.
So you got to actually explore these caverns of Kentucky. What was that like? It must have been. Was it scary or was it majestic to you?
It was pretty creepy, man. It was pretty creepy. So one of the things we did is kind of like just a team building exercise. We went to this. It was an old limestone mine that was flooded. So we all got in kayaks and we went on this guided tour. We all had lights on our heads. So you'd go into this cave, and literally like from your head to the water, like your head is skipping across the top of the cave. So you're paddling in these like the system of caves, and you go deep, man. Like at one point the guide was like, everybody turn their lights off. So we turned our lights off, and it was horrifying. Like, first off, I have debilitating claustrophobia. And then when he shut the lights off, I was like, please turn them back on immediately, because you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. And just like the thought of being lost down there, like I kind of started spinning into orbit in my own head. It's like, what if all of our lights go out? What if no one could hear us screaming? I started plotting how I'm going to get out of this damn cave. Yeah. And then when it came to exploring, we had in the mega cavern, there were a bunch of cave systems that you can go off on. Now we had our set locations, but I'm kind of a mischievous guy. And when the cameras weren't rolling and I had a little bit of a break, I kind of went wandering off the path I was supposed to. And it was, mega cavern's pretty majestic. Like, you're talking about 100, 200 foot ceilings. They actually have zip lines that you can do in the cave. That's how big this cave is. But then when you go off a little bit and you start crawling, there's some passages where, you're shimmying, you're between rock, like, your front and your back is between rock and you're like really going through. So, and I didn't know, like, to be honest, I was walking around with one of my buddies who came to visit me. I was like, Frank, I honestly don't know where we're going right now. So just be ready to scream, if we get stuck.
That's a great story. I always wonder about these team building chemistry exercises. What do they hope to accomplish besides putting you in that situation?
I think it's just there, like I said, to kind of put the actor into the mindset of the scene, and it helps, because I think there's an element of realism that's there, and the acting kind of goes away. When we were, for example, when we were doing Chernobyl Diaries, there's this scene where we're getting chased by these dogs, these giant rabid dogs. And that was real. Like, we had this Serbian dog trainer who was 100 yards away from us. And we were in the middle of these woods, and Brad would say action, and we took off running. And then you'd hear the dog trainer scream, and these dogs came chasing us, like barreling towards us. So we literally had to outrun these like 200-pound Serbian police dogs. I mean, they were massive dogs. And it's, that, like I said, that when you're running for your life from these dogs who, they don't speak English, you don't speak Serbian, and you don't know exactly how well trained they are, it definitely allows you to slip into that skin.
So essentially you're saying the horror on your face is real.
The horror on my face is real. And it's funny, the only time that Brad had to back out of something was in Chernobyl Diaries. There's that scene when we're in the abandoned apartment and the bear comes charging at us. So we had a real bear. That bear was CGI'd, but we actually had a real bear. And the way it was set up was we had an electric shield, and the cameraman was there. So we were standing behind the cameraman, and the bear would run, and then he would back up with the shield and then turn it and watch the bear run by. But we're like prepping to shoot this scene. And beforehand, the animal trainer goes, "Bear's not going to work today." I was like, we're like, what do you mean the bear's not going to work today? He's like, "Not a good idea for bear to work today." And we're like, all right. So we like, no live bear. We didn't want to get eaten. And let's not say, like, Brad loves doing that stuff. And in this movie as well, we try to make it as real as possible. And even like the stunts, like, in my death scene, when I get dragged up the hill, they literally tied my legs around a cable and tied it to a dune buggy and like dragged me up the hill. Like they had a dune buggy, they gunned it and like pulled me up the hill. Yeah. So it's
why you want to go through that? You could have just used a stunt guy.
Yeah, we could have, but then it wouldn't have looked as good,
Wow. Hey, so these creatures, obviously they didn't use a bear or they didn't have the real creatures, but what do they look like when the cameras are off?
It's really funny, to be honest, because they were like, so they're these giant like latex and silicone suits and stuff. And so my character, it was kind of, you don't see the creatures during my death scene. And so at that point I hadn't seen them either because they weren't on set. But then I went back, while I was there to watch some of the other people shooting their stuff. And it's pretty funny because it's like whether it was Chernobyl Diaries or whether it was Friday the 13th or whether it was The Devil Below, it's just funny to see like these creatures or like Jason like sitting around drinking a coffee in the cast chairs, you know. But they're just like, they're totally cool dudes. And yeah, it's and then when, you know, when it's game time, they're amazingly physical actors, and that's what sells this stuff. There's these certain actors who are known as creature actors or monster actors, and that's, yeah, like Derek Mears, who played Jason in Friday the 13th. He's a shining example of that. It takes a different kind of person to do that, and like the physicality and they're great, and it's not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do it.
Yeah, I think I remember that Friday the 13th now. That too was a while ago.
That was 2008, I think, 2008 or 9. Yeah.
Wow, you're in every iconic horror movie.
Don't
I? So for yourself, you just enjoy being from one horror movie to the next horror movie, or just happenstance that you're just getting some of these type of parts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Brad's kind of carving a niche for himself as a director in that space and in that genre. And like I said, I like the script, and I would work with Brad anytime, you know. But for me, it's like I said, if I respond to the script, I'll consider the project. If it's a shitty script, I'm obviously not going to be gung ho about doing something. So yeah, but I mean, as an actor, it's, you know, whether it's a drama or a horror film or a comedy, as long as I respond to the material, as long as I respond to the director and the character, you know, I'm open to doing anything.
I know your character, you got to play with some scientific equipment, you know, the sonars thing. Do you even know?
I had no idea what I was talking about.
I was gonna say, do you?
Oh, bullshit. No idea. And it's funny because my cousin's wife is an actual geologist. So there was like some stuff in the script. I was like calling her from Kentucky. I was like, how do you say this? Like, what's the proper thing I should be doing right now? Yeah. But I was like, giga, blah, blah, like end rotor regurder. I had no idea.
That is excellent for you. Well, Jonathan, let me wrap it up with one more question here. Obviously, you know, it's crazy times right now. And in the past year, a lot of people have been staying at home, and we're speaking virtually. How are you staying sane and creative during times like this?
I'm actually very busy. So in October, I'm producing a pretty big film for New Line and HBO right now, a big Christmas movie that I've been working on for like the last 3 years. And we're finally up and running. We're shooting in Toronto right now. I also was acting in a new Netflix series that's coming out this summer. So I was shooting that in Toronto. I'm producing a film for John Legend's company right now. So with these projects, it's kind of the new normal, where I would be driving around town having all these meetings, but now we can do it like this. But that doesn't take away the busy work. So I've actually had kind of a full plate, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. As an actor, you know, it's been a grind. It's been a serious grind. A lot of actors, and myself included, you flourish while you're in the room. Like, I enjoy going to meetings. I enjoy going to auditions. And there's just none of that anymore. It's all self-tape. You know, you get an appointment, you have to put yourself on tape. You don't really get direction until you send it in, and hopefully they'll set up a follow-up with you, a callback with the director or stuff like that. But it's a grind right now. It's a grind. So, but like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have some stuff keep me busy, and I can't wait for you guys to see that.
You know what? Can't wait for that either. But you know what? I'm a fan of Friday the 13th, so I do have to ask, what was that experience like? Because you know, for as a fan of horror, I don't know about you, but I would love to be in a Friday the 13th just to get murdered. I don't know why.
It was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer to do that movie. And I will tell you, Derek Mears, if you're watching, you big jerk. So listen to this story. So we were shooting in Bastrop, Texas, which is like 45 minutes outside of Austin, in the woods, like deep woods. So we get picked up in our trailers in this van. We drive through this woods. We get dropped off at a little clearing, and then we have to walk like 100 yards to the lake where we're actually shooting. Now it's like 3:30 in the morning. It's pitch black except for on set. I have to go to the bathroom. The bathrooms are back where the vans dropped you off. So I have to walk by myself 100 yards to go to this bathroom. So I'm like, this is creepy as it is. Like, I'm doing a Friday the 13th film, and now I got to walk through the forest. So like, I was like, it feels like I'm in a horror movie, and I kind of was in a horror movie. So I walk all the way to the bathrooms, and I was convinced someone was going to mess with me. And I get there, and I come out of the bathroom, walking back to set, and Derek Mears jumps out of the woods, completely dressed as Jason, swinging a machete at me. I literally, I didn't know if I was like screaming, and I didn't know it was like fight or flight, but I was just kind of like dancing because I didn't know what to do. And it was you just heard everybody on set, like all the actors and producers laughing their asses off. But he got me pretty good. He got me pretty good.
That is an excellent story. You know what? I'm going to have to clip that out and then tag him or something.
For sure.
Well, excellent. Well, hey, Jonathan. Hey, thank you for speaking with us about The Devil Below. It's been a pleasure. You tell great stories.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, not a problem. Hopefully we get to do this again in your future.
I would love to. Anytime, guys.
Hey, thank you. Bye now.